Okay, relatives, good morning. Hihani Washte. I'm going to try to do a very quick reading for today, considering it's July 1st. I think it's a good day to turn towards this book, the Meditation with the Native American Elders, the Four Seasons. And so I'm just going to get right to it. I already did start a smudge, so we'll go ahead and that's our way of prayer. So we'll go ahead and smudge the room down. And again, my name is Michael from the Ihangtawan people, the Yankton Sioux people, and I'm coming at you from South Dakota. And welcome to my page. Please feel free to like and share the page so that it can grow. Okay, so for July 1st, it says, I am an Indian. I am one of God's children. Matthew King Lakota said that. My Creator, today let me remember the reason I'm here on Mother Earth. Let me look into my own eyes and see the beauty you have created. Excuse me. I'm here on Mother Earth. Let me look into my own eyes and see the beauty you have created. Let me have good thoughts. Being an Indian is not the color of my skin. Being Indian is to listen to my heart, to think only of the things you have taught, to watch nature and live in harmony. Being Indian is to walk in prayer, to talk to you constantly during the day. Being an Indian is to act and to walk in a sacred way. And then there's a brief prayer at the bottom. Today, let me think in beauty. Let me walk in beauty. Let me pray in beauty. Okay, so that's a good one, and I kind of messed up the readings, but I appreciate your patience. And it's probably the lack of light in here, and so I really like that because it does make me feel like there's a reason why I'm here. It does make me feel like it says, let me look into my own eyes and see the beauty you have created. Let me feel good about myself for who I am and how today is. And let me walk in beauty and let me be a person of prayer and to live in harmony. So I really need reminding of that because in today's world of fast pace, I'll be doing a medical procedure here in a little while, and that's why I'm up so early. And so I'm very nervous. Though I'll get sedated, and people will be doctors and nurses will be performing that procedure, and it's a routine procedure, but that's why I'm up so late. My prayers really go out to those that are really struggling right now, that are in need of prayers. I just really like that because it talks about being in harmony. And if somebody doesn't really know how to be in harmony, I think that prayer is a good way to good starting point. I like the fact that it talks about prayer, and again, relatives, I'm not a religious person. I consider myself a spiritual person. But prayer is a really good place to start to get someone centered, and this isn't to promote prayer or get you to start praying. I'm just going to speak from my own experience because at one point I just simply did not believe in prayer. I just gave up on it. And so for me to be talking about prayer right now is definitely an indicator that change is possible. I consider it positive change because I do believe in spirituality. And prayer for me is a good way to stay connected to spirituality, not necessarily religion, but I wouldn't argue against it, nor would I argue with anybody who wants to argue against it or for it. It's just something that I've learned. I'm going to turn the fan the other way. Excuse me. But I do like it that it acknowledges the beauty both within and all around us. And I don't know about you, but there was at one time, and still, even today, I struggle with things like self-esteem issues, poor self-image, the person that looks back at me in the mirror. And I'm a single person. I'm single, and that's just something that I struggled with for a long time. With self-esteem, with the person that looked back at me in the mirror, the person that I thought, or the person that I felt that I was. And so self-esteem issues have always been a part of my life. And I have come a long way, but boy, in this time, in getting older, in this time of the internet, it's just really, for me, it's difficult. And I don't drink, and there's a lot of reasons why. I do very well socially, and I'm really thankful for that. But I'm just saying, I really like the fact that there's things out there that use those type of words, that talk about the beauty within, and that the Creator sees the beauty in all of us. And that's really, I know a lot of people can relate with that, with what I'm talking about, but that's really something that I want to, would like to, if this video were to end now, I just want people out there to feel the same way, is to see the beauty within themselves, both on the outside but also on the inside. That's the main thing that I would want in this video, is whoever's struggling out there with that feeling that they aren't good enough, is for this video to really help. I really believe that that everybody is beautiful, and I cannot say that enough. I just wish I could just say that over and over and over and over again to anybody out there that is struggling with that self-esteem, because I know what it's like, and I know that our looks change as we get older. I know that we change, but from the perspective of my spiritual beliefs, I believe that we're all grandchildren. And in other words, that there are ancestors in the afterlife that are our grandparents. And in the eyes of all creation, we are all spiritual beings. We are all equal. We are all viewed as absolutely beautiful. And I believe that. I believe that this world that we've been conditioned to live in really places so much emphasis on the outer. How do I look? And I believe that is important, but it needs to be important to that individual. And that is the most important. And so I think we need to be around people who remind us of that, to read things that remind us of what is the most important thing in this life, is how we view ourselves. And it can be really difficult, because if we grow up in a situation or in a place where we're not receiving that, it can be real easy to grow up in such a way where we're not reminding ourselves of that, and we're not hearing that type of language, and we're not being reminded that we are beautiful. We are, there is that we all were made to look a little bit different, and that we all have a place within this life cycle. We all have a place at the spiritual table of of, uh, of man or mankind or of all creation. And so I really love that, because I think that when we tend to feel that pressure to look, to be better, to be busy, um, that can put us out of harmony. And so when we're out of harmony, then I think we become real susceptible to those messages that we need to look a certain way, that we need to be smart enough. And when we do that, we are telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that we don't measure up, that we are less than other people who do look a certain way. And it's really difficult in this world, I think, to fight that fight. And so myself, I've just surrendered. I've stopped fighting it, or I've tried to. And again, this is something that has been a part of my life for a long time, and I know that it's really been a factor in my um, ability to sustain a loving relationship with a woman, which is ultimately my goal and has been for a while. But I think because for so long I had been conditioned and heard that it was wrong to be Native American. And of course, you don't have to be Native American. You can be receiving the messages even as a youngster that, it's wrong to be who you are. It's we don't approve of you. And those messages can really go within. And so for myself, I live alone. I just love to hear compliments, and I love to give compliments, and I just love the fact that I know now when I'm in harmony, when my thinking is in harmony, and when my thinking is out of harmony. When I'm in harmony, it just feels right. It just feels a sense of calm, a sense of peace, and I'm able to see all living beings and all people as absolutely wonderfully beautiful. Oh, and I just love that. And that's not something that is short-lived. That just escapes me really fast. I've decided to make it a habit to be that type of person that I wasn't before, because when you've been conditioned to believe that you're less than, when you've been conditioned to believe that the way that you look, because back then people, back then when I was growing up, the message was really clear that it was really negative to be Native American. It was really negative to look how I looked, to sound how I sound. And I was really at the hostage of people's mood. So if you were in a bad mood, guess who they took it out on? And I grew up in small town South Dakota, and so there was either Native American people, or there was Caucasian or white people. No offense, by the way. No offense meant. But that's really the way that it was. And so so it was really difficult, and it really did take a toll on my self-esteem. It took a toll on my self-image, and most importantly, it took a toll on how I saw myself. And so I was really out of harmony in the community that I grew up, because of it had been like that, was really out of harmony with itself, and the people that lived there were out of harmony. And so today, I insist on living in harmony. And part of living in harmony is to remember what it was like to live out of harmony. And so that out of harmony belief and that out of harmony way of life became my teacher. And that's not something that I really wanted, but nonetheless, it is the way that it is now. Change has happened, but man, those type of things can be rooted so deeply within, that it really becomes a struggle throughout life. And so for myself, I now at least know this. I now at least know that what is most important is within. And now within um, can be problematic, can be something that we struggle with. So within might be ugly, might be out of harmony, but nonetheless, I have also saw that there is beauty in there as well, because without that, then we would all be expected, we would all measure each other out in perfection, right? In that way. So in other words, I've learned to even embrace the parts of me that are damaged, the parts of me that have been conditioned as a result of that type of abusive type language upon me, but then I took upon myself because I didn't grow up hearing the I love yous. I didn't grow up um, having that self-esteem and self-image be molded into a positive way. And so now I know how to do that myself. But of course, everybody wants to have people in their lives and to feel as though other people feel that way towards myself as well. But the main thing is that I feel that way towards myself. Because when you feel that way towards yourself, you automatically start sort of setting the rules, or setting the momentum. You automatically, you draw people in that feel that way about you as well. And so I've been really thankful that change is possible, that I've been given, a second chance, third chances, fourth chances, even fifth chances. And even though even today I do make a lot of mistakes, I've made so many mistakes along the way that I'm still able to come back to the center, come back to the spiritual way, and continue to gain insight, added insight on how the past does play a part in how I view others, view myself, and today. And that has been really important, to understand what is in harmony, what is out of harmony, what is spiritual, what is healthy, what is unhealthy thinking, what is unhealthy behavior. Whereas before, I just simply didn't know. I was really just at the mercy of what other people thought of me. And what, of course, it's really positive to have relationships and to value what other people thought. If we're friends, if we're peers, if we're in a relationship. But the main important thing is the spiritual insight, the spiritual thinking, the spiritual way of speaking, the spiritual way of thinking. And that to me is within us all. And so I know that if I struggle, that other people struggle too. If I've changed, and other people change too. So I know that I'm still remain a learner, I still remain a teacher, and now that provides a safe atmosphere, an accepting place for people to come. You are welcome in my home, because in my home I've reconditioned a sacred place where everybody here is treated with respect, and everybody here is loved, and everybody here is viewed as wonderful, as beautiful, as this is a safe place that is provided for us to have these type of conversations. And I just want to be in that place, is now within, where my spirit resides and where my spirit radiates, because that's what your spirit is meant to do, in my opinion. And then I've created a home that strengthens that, or continues that sort of thinking, and is a reflection of that change. So some of my artwork you'll see captures the way that I used to feel, and I've been able to express that. And some of my artwork captures the change, and some of my artwork captures my thoughts and my perspective of the person that I am now. So that person, that spirit, that that way of being, of living, is constantly evolving. As far as I'm concerned, it is, because from one day to the next, there's Mother Nature always changes, and so are we. And so, since that change is always happening, I understand that there's going to be challenges to that change. But since I embrace change and I stop resisting it, and now that I see the power of change, now I'm in harmony with the laws of all of creation. And so now we're working together. Now I know what in harmony is. Now I know when I resist change, and when I resist, and I am in the flow of what is spiritual in those type of beliefs that I've been talking about. Now I know that I'm thinking spiritually. And now I can go out into the community, or if somebody comes here, I can go out to my job, I can go out into my relationships, and I can be that type of person that I want to be. And yes, it is a struggle. I do struggle in relationships. I still do, but I can measure by looking at the past and assessing and making that evaluation honestly, and also with the grandmas and grandpas, and bring them into my thinking, because that is being in harmony. When we pray and when we think about our relatives, we become in harmony. And now I'm able to look at my life and measure, and not expect perfection, and not judge myself harshly. Because when I do, would the grandmas do that? No, they wouldn't do that. Would the grandpas do that? No, they wouldn't do that. Would a child do that? No, they wouldn't do that. So why am I doing that to myself? Yes, as flawed human being, we're flawsome. We're flawed. We embrace our flaws, and we see them as being in balance and a part of life. And now I'm able to understand and yes, it is a struggle, especially for me now. Thoughts go through my head. When am I ever going to get married? When am I ever going to meet somebody that is going to stay with me or stick around? It's questions that I ask myself. But at least I'm asking, and I'm sharing them with creation. I'm sharing them. I can pray about them. I can identify ways that I need to change in a healthy way, but bring healthy language into that. And I can just talk to myself and bring that language in. And when I do that, I'm going to attract other people who will bring different language into their lives, more healthy, in harmony language. And I'm going to start to shy away from people who use different language, damaging language, abusive language that is old language, because there are a lot of people that still believe that I should have short hair, that I should think and act the way that they do, sound the way that they do. And so that message is still out there, and it's still very strong. But what's important is the message that I say towards myself. And so now that I've continued to learn about that, I just want to send a positive message out to you. And I just want you to feel beautiful. I absolutely want you to feel beautiful, because I know that is in harmony. I know that that is ultimately the real truth. That is ultimately the honest truth. And anything that is otherwise is out of harmony and is damaging to the self-esteem and to the self-image and to the spirit. And so for myself, I just want to encourage everybody to consider that, to reach out to me. My number is 605 491 0200. 605 491 0200. And have a blessed day. Have a good day. Just, if you know, I hope that you feel that positive self-esteem, because you are absolutely wonderful. You are absolutely beautiful. Yeah, you have your quirks. Yeah, you have the parts of you that have been conditioned, that have been damaged by that out of harmony thinking that has been forced upon us through no fault of our own. No fault of our own, because sometimes we just didn't know better. But now we're learning about forgiveness. Now we're learning about acceptance. Now we're learning about change. That is in harmony. And so myself, I kind of have to rush through this, but you're welcome to get a hold of me. I just would love for people to get a hold of me, to have a good conversation, and to be in harmony with each other as relatives. So my relatives, I will wish you a wonderful day. Happy July 1st. Prayers go out to everybody. There is a sacred space within everybody that is forever, that is entirely sacred. And so it is up to us to take care of that place, of that sacred place, and to remember each other within that sacred place. Ho he chetua no, mitakuye oyansi.